Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island. Okay. Been working in Manhattan since 1987. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
The work is not done here, but this is a major, major step forward.
My reaction is, this is nuts. It's really, really crazy. You never know, you never know who your neighbors are, right?
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. It's so nice to see you again. Today there will be a live press conference related to the Long Island serial killer case and the suspect, Rex Heuermann. I see the news is already kind of breaking the news before the press conference even happens. So what they're saying is that Jane Doe number 7 has been identified. So we're going to look at that. I want to show you the map. I want to show you the picture that they've drawn. They drew a sketch for all these years of who they think, or what they think Jane Doe number 7 looks like, also known as Fire Island Jane Doe. So welcome to all my moderators. Mic check, everyone. Are we good? Can you hear me? Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. To all my patrons as well. Hope you enjoyed the video that I posted there. I was indeed on Court TV this morning with the incredible Julie Grant, talking about actually this case as well as the new developments in the Kohberger. It's not the Kohberger case, but you know what I mean when I say that. Brian Kohberger, new developments from the defense team. So I was there, yes indeed, and I will show you some clips after the press conference from that if you want to see that. And also somebody's saying, is it Peaches? It's not Peaches. Jane Doe number 7 is not Peaches. So they're going to identify Jane Doe number 7 today apparently in this press conference. And what does that mean? To me, that tells me it could be, I'm speculating for a second here, but that could mean that based on evidence they got at the house, for example, Rex Heuermann's house, maybe now they were able to, because it's odd timing, to be like, now we know who Jane Doe number 7 is. And if so, then the possibility so exists for Rex Heuermann being responsible for all these murders along this stretch of beach. Never mind where else it could be as well. We shall see. There have been multiple serial killers operating in this area since the early 90s, including Joel Rifkin, John Bitrolf, Robert Schulman. Those are 3 that are not even Rex Heuermann. So, you know, if some of these victims are eventually connected to them, that'll be interesting. Of course, they could also be connected to someone else whose names we don't know. But the fact that they found the identification now through DNA evidence of Jane Doe number 7 is very interesting. Rolfie and Holly says, thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much. And okay, so I'm going to be monitoring all these live feeds of what, like 100 of them open. If you guys find a really good quality one as well to watch, please send it to me on Twitter in my direct messages, okay? So yes, that's interesting. Barbara says maybe one of his burner phones that he had. So let me quickly show you this. Okay, so let me just, here's the map, but what I want to go to is this. You see here, this is actually from the LISKpodcast.com. If you've never listened to the LISK podcast, oh my goodness, they are so highly detailed, such a brilliant podcast on this case. Let me just quickly make this a little bit smaller so you can actually see what's going on here. Okay, so what they've made here on the LISK podcast, they say official victims, right? So just to give you a heads up of what they're probably going to be talking about at this presser. So they say official victims, although as we know, based on the probable cause affidavit, they are yet to officially link Maureen Brainard Barnes to Rex Heuermann, although he is the prime suspect. So I keep anticipating an update for that, that they will say, okay, he's responsible for the Gilgo Four, for example. And remember, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, so this would be what he is accused of, the charges that he would be facing. He's facing charges for 3 out of the 4 Gilgo Four murders, and they've listed it as serial killing. So Amberlynn Costello, Melissa Barthélemy, and Megan Waterman are the victims that have been officially linked to Rex Heuermann, which is just devastating, of course, for their families. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not able to put the chat on the screen right now. YouTube glitches sometimes. It's okay. So Maureen Brainard Barnes, we're yet to see an update on that. But then if we go to the other bodies that were found along that stretch of beach, right? Jessica Taylor, 20 of Washington, D.C., went missing in New York City in July of 2003. This is why I was saying it doesn't in 2010, they found the Gilgo Four, right? And then all the other bodies. But some of those other bodies, they disappeared way back. So what was, for example, Rex up to in the 90s? What was he up to in the early 2000s? Never mind between 2010 and 2023, because we know they swooped in and arrested him because he was busy buying a burner phone again. He was following his own pattern. And we saw what he Googled and all of that. If you missed the whole read-through of the probable cause affidavit, please do check that out, okay? So, Donald Payne, I'm like, what? Donald Payne says, gee, do not sell out and join Court TV. I'm not selling out. I've got my channel, Grizzly True Crime. We are so proud of this channel, and I'm so proud to have been on Court TV today. And thank you to everyone who supported me over there as well. All right, so are we ready now? We've looked at the Gilgo Four in depth, and we're still building layer by layer as we go, as I've said, especially on the map. It really helps to look at the map and see, well, where were all these bodies found, right? So Jessica Taylor, what's interesting here is that she went missing she's from Washington, D.C., went missing in New York City in July of 2003. And remember, Rex seems to, based on the pattern we can see, strike in the summer months, right? So there you go. Her partial remains were first recovered on July 26th of 2003 in Manorville, and later on Gilgo Beach in April of 2011. There's some speculation that exists that this could be the work of John Bittrell, for example. He was convicted of 2 murders, suspected of up to 19 or more. And they called him the Manorville Butcher. He was more of the poser and dismemberer. However, serial killers can change their MO all the time. Joel Rifkin also said it. There was a recent interview we looked at of his, we recently looked at an old interview of his. That's the right way to say that. And so Valerie Mack was actually Jane Doe number 6, and they had identified her a while back, where they say Valerie Mack, 24, of Port Republic, New Jersey, was last seen in the spring of 2000. Once known only as Jane Doe number 6, her partial remains were first discovered in Manorville, see, same as Jessica Taylor, okay, and then in November 2000, and later on Gilgo Beach in April of 2011. She was identified using genetic genealogy in May of 2020, so that's when that was. Then here we've got Jane Doe number 7. Now this is what they're going to be updating us on today, I believe, based on what the news is saying. This is the picture that they've shared, and they say the remains of Jane Doe 7, as called Fire Island Jane Doe, were recovered near Tobay Beach. Guys, where did... Do you remember the link with Rex Heuermann and Tobay Beach? The press conference is at past, by the way. past the hour. I mean, for me, it's 4:10 in the afternoon, but it would be at past the hour. I think it's 10:30, right? Eastern. So 20 more minutes. Now, Tobay Beach, huh? Do you remember? That's Rex Heuermann's high school. They say they used to go on outings to that beach. It's one of the high school knows it as like their favorite beach. That's what we read, right? And it's very close, of course, to Gilgo Beach and Jones Beach State Park, where Rex also worked in 81 and 84. If you don't remember that, we've done some deep dives. Please go check it out. It's on the playlist for you. We've done lots of presentations, and I've recorded videos without the interruptions and all sorts of things. There we go. Bubble Tea's like, he worked at Tobay Beach. Exactly. Correct. Now, Jane Doe number 7, Fire Island Jane Doe, has just been identified, and they're going to tell us at the press conference who she is. And these remains were linked by DNA testing to a set of remains found on Fire Island in April of 1996. Oh, yes, indeed. 64, 74, 84, 94. So you would have been 32 years old. Wow. And so we go here. Rebecca Peach says, why is it so interesting that number 7 has a name? I don't know. Would you prefer this victim to be nameless? Over here, we care about victims very much and their families, and we protect them, right? So if that was you, would you prefer to remain nameless? So these remains were linked by DNA testing to a set of remains found on Fire Island in April of 1996. The victim had a surgical scar on her left leg. And so they drew the sketch, and I don't know, maybe today they'll have some pictures or something so that we can know, well, what was her name? And, you know, just some more information. And then there's John Doe as well. John Doe was discovered on Gilgo Beach in April of 2011. He was an Asian male who died from blunt force trauma to the face. So there's some of the victims that they know exactly how they died. Some, the decomposition was a lot. So it was very advanced. So they didn't quite know how they died. Although with the Gilgo Four, I believe they said that they were all asphyxiated. We will see. So here they say, according to investigators, he likely worked as an escort and was found wearing women's clothing. He was between 17 and 23 years of age, 5'6" in height, and missing 4 teeth. He had been dead for between 5 and 10 years. See, then we've got Peaches and Baby Doe, and they proved that through genetic testing that Baby Doe belonged to her mother, Baby Doe's mother, Baby Doe, Jane Doe, yeah. Baby Doe's mother is Peaches. So now I'm going to show you the map. I hope it'll make more sense. Thank you so much, Ether Bunny. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so let's go to some map time here. Okay, and we are back with our maps here so that I could just show you visually what we're looking at. All right, Louise says, holy cow, so he's been doing this for way longer. I mean, I would suspect so, right? I don't think he would wake up at like age 45 or 49 or whatever it was at the time and be like, oh, okay. It's not completely unheard of, but normally they would already be, they being serial killers, quite active. The average age between 25 and 35, something like that, but they could start earlier even, you just never know. Okay. That's right. Objection Cake says, her name is not what's interesting. What's interesting is who she was as a human being, and by IDing her, we can get her just as she deserves. Absolutely. Objection Cake, saying it like a true grizzly. Thank you so much. Okay. Map time. So, what we have here, I'm going to zoom in here so we could see again this map here, just so that you can remind yourself, right? Firstly, where did Rex live? Rex lived over here. His family still lives there. Please do not bother them, harass them. I know their address is everywhere. People are going in there, gawking at them, filming them. They look absolutely distraught and devastated. They are victims too. I mean, it's terrible. So here's Tobay Beach, okay? And here's Jones Beach State Park. Now, I don't know the exact coordinates of where Peaches was found, but they said very close to Jones Beach State Park, okay? So Peaches was found here. Baby Doe, can you see my mouse pointer? I know it's a little bit small, but I hope you can see it. Was found here. Very close to Valerie Mack's remains. So that's also quite interesting. You know? Because Baby Doe is the baby of Peaches. And so if we go and zoom in here, this is this Ocean Parkway, which has no street lights. It would be very dark at night. And quite easy, actually, to not be seen for some time. On the A&E special, if you guys haven't seen that, I think it's from 2015. John Kelly, a criminal profiler, was also on it. If you don't know who that is, there's 2 videos that I've recently published where I had some conversations with John Kelly, so check those out as well. But they said at least 90 seconds, a minute and a half, there's no cars, from just what they timed, right? How long would it be if you see the lights of a car for that car to get to you and past you, which would be about a minute and a half, right? So Amber Costello's remains were found right here. And now I'm thinking in meters. 6 meters, about 30, I think it was about 30, between 10 and 30 feet. All the victims found from the road in this bramble and wrapped in burlap netting. So Amber Costello, Melissa Barthélemy, Maureen Brainard Barnes. Surprisingly, from that probable cause affidavit, we learned that she was not wrapped in burlap. It's so often said that the Gilgo Four were all wrapped in burlap, but there's one distinction with Maureen Brainard Barnes, that she was actually the first one to go missing out of the 4. And then Megan Waterman. So this is the stretch and why they're called the Gilgo Beach murders and all of that. But once they found those, looking for Shannan Gilbert, right? This is where it all started. Looking for Shannan Gilbert in 2010. Then they found the Gilgo Four, and then they found the remains of an unidentified Asian male, which, if that is eventually linked to Rex Heuermann, wouldn't surprise me based on his Google searches, if you guys remember what he was searching. Okay, and so Jessica Taylor's partial remains were found right here. So some of her remains were found in Manorville and some over here. That's quite a scary thought. Now, if these are eventually tied to Rex Heuermann, it would mean that he changed his MO, that he was a dismemberer, and that later he wrapped them in burlap. And I want to show you something else after this. Just hold on 1 second. Oh. So Valerie Mack is found here, and then Peaches, the baby of Peaches, found here. And Valerie Mack also had partial remains found here and some in Manorville. Shannan Gilbert was last seen here and later found not far from John Brewer's house. And if we go to Fire Island Jane Doe, that's over here. Jane Doe number 7. This is where partial remains were found of Jane Doe number 7. Maureen Brainard Barnes was the first to go missing of the 4. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Sue B. So if we go back here, Jane Doe number 7, the remains of Jane Doe 7, as called Fire Island Jane Doe, were recovered near Tobay Beach. So we're going to look at that again. These remains were linked by DNA testing to a set of remains found on Fire Island in April of 1996. So April of 1996, they find partial remains over here. And then later, they find here at Tobay Beach the rest or more remains from that same victim over here. So that's already, just from the stretch of beach, 3 victims where some of the remains are found in one place and some in another. Valerie Mack, Jessica Taylor, and Jane Doe number 7. Quite hectic, huh? Okay. And then what I wanted to show you as well is, you know how we go from, we've driven it a little bit, like as in we did some Google Maptime. Mr. Grizzly and I actually want to fly this route for you. If you've never seen how we do that, you could check out the Idaho case playlist, right? So if Rex Heuermann was driving from here, he would generally, likely, we could speculate, how would he drive? He could drive upwards and this way, or he could drive downwards and this way, and then down this road here to get onto Ocean Parkway. But there's a lot more traffic and things like that there. So what if he drove this way? Now this kind of scares me to think about, because if he drove this way, eastward, and remember this whole round trip from his house, whichever way he went around, if he went this way around and then home, or if he went this way around and then this way home, or whichever way, it's about an hour. It's about an hour's loop, okay? So if he went from here this way, look at this bridge that goes over the water here. And when they said they're going to go searching out there, but they're not going to say where they're searching or, announce what they're doing with the searches. Oh, man, I wonder if they're going to find remains. What an absolutely easy place to discard bodies, right? KK says, question, is Jane Doe number 7 linked to the 96 remains, or are the 96 remains part of? They are part of. From my understanding, they are part of. All right. Someone says, Shannan, dismembering is difficult and messy. I think he got lazy and simply stopped doing that and just disposed of their bodies. I mean, hey, he may have felt invincible by then. True, that as well. And if we look at this LISK podcast one again, is it this one? Yeah. They say possible connected victim. Now, this also gets very interesting. Possible connected victims. Shannan Gilbert, we've done a deep dive on her case as well. And then Natasha Gilgo, 31, was last seen on March 16th, 2013, leaving her home in Queens Village, New York. The next day, Gilgo's vehicle was found abandoned along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach, along with her wallet, ID, and some clothing. Her body was discovered washed ashore on Gilgo Beach on June 24th of 2023. So that's also very interesting. And it's also June, huh? It's also June. And then there's cherries as well. On March 3rd, 2007, a dismembered torso of a Hispanic or light-skinned African-American woman was found inside a suitcase in Westchester County, New York. She had a tattoo of 2 red cherries on a green stem located on her right breast. Cherries, as referred to by law enforcement, was also decapitated and dismembered, although her original cause of death was a stab wound to the torso. And then Tanya Rush. On June 27, 2008, the remains of 39-year-old Tanya Rush, a Brooklyn mother of 3 who worked as an escort, was discovered dismembered inside a suitcase. So that's 2 already here, possible connected victims, both in a suitcase. So even that, as someone said earlier, maybe he got really lazy and, the Gilgo Four, he just started putting those bodies on the beach and the other bodies as well. Maybe, we're just speculating. So was discovered dismembered inside a suitcase on the shoulder of an entrance ramp on the Southern State Parkway. Hilaria, thank you for being a member for 21 months. Oh, my word. And Anna Sturgis says, what if he used a boat to get across? He did fish. I mean, yes, we've looked at that theory as well. There is that theory. I just think, it's possible. I just think it's easier for him to drive. It's quicker, easier to just drive this way. It's a very dark road. Go there, discard bodies, and then go home, Sorry, Anna. There we go. Is your sticker on here yet? Nope. Sorry, it's stuck now. It likes to get stuck sometimes. Okay, so how many more minutes have we got? 7 more minutes until the press conference. Just let me quickly just check the news. Checking all the live feeds. We don't want to miss it. All right, so we've got that. And then I want to show you this quickly where they say Gilgo Beach victim Jane Doe. I mustn't say that fast. It gets like a tongue twister. Jane Doe, number 7, identified as investigation continues. So they're like, we will have a press conference today to tell you some news. And then all the news is like, we know what you're going to tell us. So they've all run with that, yes. So now we know what to expect. Police investigating the notorious Gilgo Beach murders have identified another victim who was previously known as Jane Doe 7. Suffolk County authorities will identify the victim at a press conference on Friday, almost 3 decades after her legs were found in a plastic bag at Davis Park on Fire Island's Blue Point Beach on April 20th, 1996. WABC was the first to report the latest finding. At the time of the discovery of the remains, investigators were only able to determine that the victim was a white woman with several distinctive scars, including evidence of surgery on her left ankle, according to the Doe Network. Yeah, Lenny says he's a creepy dude. Her skull was found on April 11th, 2011, near the partial dismembered remains of Jane Doe 3, also known as Peaches, off Ocean Parkway west of Tobay Beach in Nassau County. Last month, Massapequa Park architect Rex Heuermann, 59, was arrested and charged with the deaths of 3 women whose remains were discovered a few miles further east down Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach in December of 2010. So they say her skull was found on April 11, 2011, near Jane Doe 3, off Ocean Parkway, west of Tobay Beach. So if you go here, Tobay Beach. Wow. This is going to be very interesting today, I think. I know you guys might be like, oh no, it's another nothing burger. It's a nothing. What are we hearing today? I think it's huge news today. If they can identify Jane Doe, number 7, oh my goodness. Mother of Dragons, thank you so much. Tracy says, was the baby unborn? No, the baby was between 18 and 24 months old. Stefan says, excellent interview on Court TVG. Thank you so much, Stefan. I really appreciate it. After the presser, I can show you guys some clips from that if you want to. They did say I'm allowed to, okay? Thank you, Grizzly Cat. You say presser starts in 4 minutes. If anyone has a link to the presser, please send it to me right now on Twitter, okay? Twitter DMs are where I'm looking. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So ABC 7 maybe. Okay, hold on one second. We're going to get it. So yes, that's what's happening here today. So I guess I could close this now. So if you want to look up some news here, it would be gilgonews.com just to see the timeline and see what the updates are here after the presser, things like that. I'm just telling you again what the useful sources are. It would be gilgonews.com and liskpodcast.com. All right, so now let me get it for you.
Good morning, everyone. We're here. I'm here with our fellow task force members to announce.
News from Channel 7.
Stop that.
Good morning. I'm Shantae Lands. We have breaking news in the Gilgo Beach murder investigation. Suffolk County authorities have identified another victim. Let's listen in.
Female remains consisting of legs and feet were found on the bayside shore of Fire Island, about a mile west of Davis Park Beach. Then, approximately 15 years later, on April 11, 2011, additional remains consisting of a skull were discovered at Tobay Beach in Nassau County. That skull was found following the discovery of the remains of Jessica Taylor, and the skull was found on the same day as the remains of what is commonly come to be referred to as Peaches was found on Jones Beach. Thereafter, in July of 2011, the Suffolk County Crime Lab linked the two sets of remains via DNA analysis, and by that I mean the legs that were found in the vicinity of Davis Park were compared with the remains found at Tobay Beach, and it was determined that it was the same person. Since 2011, that victim was known by various names, including Fire Island Jane Doe. Task Force re-examination of all the evidence in the case, we were able to identify Fire Island Jane Doe as Karen Vergata, who was 34 years old at the time of her disappearance, and I believe we have a picture of Miss Vergata. And I think it's important that we remember and honor not only Ms. Vergata, but all the victims on Gilgo Beach. Ms. Vergata went missing at approximately February 14th, 1996. At the time, she lived on West 45th Street in Manhattan and was believed to be working as an escort at the time of her disappearance. There was no missing persons complaint filed at the time of that disappearance. In August of 2022, approximately 6 months after we formed this Gilgo task force, a DNA profile suitable for genealogical comparison was developed from the remains of Karen Vergata. In September of 2022, the FBI was able via a genetic genealogy review to identify Ms. Vergata presumptively as Fire Island Jane Doe. Thereafter, in October of 2022, using a buccal swab from a relative of Karen Vergata, we were able to definitively identify her. Prior to disclosing this information, of course, we needed to contact all of Ms. Vergata's family members. And additionally, at or around the same time, we were beginning our grand jury confidential investigation into what has been known as the Gilgo Four. That is the murders of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. So we decided we were not going to make any public comment at this time. However, since that, the results of that investigation have become public, and we have made the necessary notifications to Ms. Vergata's family. We can make this important announcement now. I just want to thank, in particular, Special Agent Lori Giordano from the FBI in her work with the familial DNA. She worked in conjunction with our Suffolk County Crime Lab, Don Dollar of the Suffolk County Crime Lab, his team, in coordination with the Suffolk County Police Department's Homicide Unit. So I want to thank them, in particular, for all of their work. Of course, I want to thank our task force members, Suffolk County Sheriff Errol Toulon, ASAC Spencer Horn from the FBI. I want to thank the New York State Police, Suffolk County Police Department, Rodney Harrison, who couldn't make it here. I understand Chief Rowan is here in his place instead. But I want to thank them for not only their work on this case, but for all their work in the task force going forward. It's important to note that there are no charges at this time. Ms. Vergata's disappearance was in 1996, which is 27 years ago. We are going to continue to work this particular case as we did the Gilgo Four investigation. We're going to have no comment on what, if any, suspects we developed at this time. This is a confidential investigation, so I'm not going to be taking any questions, but our investigation is continuing, and thank you all very much. No questions. If you want to talk about something regarding the Gilgo Four, I'm happy to talk offline to you. But today, this press conference is about Ms. Vergata, and that we've been able to identify her, and that we're continuing our investigation not only with regard to the Gilgo Four, but all of the victims on Gilgo. So thank you all very much.
And again, that was District Attorney Ray.
Wow, so they're done. Okay, I'm going to show you pictures quickly. Oh, they're showing a picture here. Wait. Pause. Okay, I want to show you this. Karen Vergata, 34, went missing in 1996. Only now been identified, which they're not answering questions. But I mean, we could read between the lines and start speculating because it's like, oh, now she's been identified, which is devastating for her family. But as we always say, no answers are worse. Just not knowing, well, where did she go? How did she disappear? They didn't ever know it. This was this person. They just knew Jane Doe number 7. Fire Island Jane Doe. Wow. Okay, so I'm sure more information will come out about who Karen Vergata was. She was 34 years old when she disappeared, went missing in 1996 in New York. So let's have a look at that quickly. We'll go back here. Hold on one second. That was a very short and sweet press conference, huh? Okay, so one more time. Let's quickly look here at victims. Hold on, I just want to get the right one for you. John Doe, yeah, they haven't put that even on the Gilgo news site, so it's on the LISK podcast. Okay. Jane Doe 7, the remains of Jane Doe 7, as called Fire Island Jane Doe, were recovered near Tobay Beach in April of 2011. So just think about that. She went missing in April of 1996. Damn, that took a long time to recover the remains, and then even longer to identify those remains. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm just checking what you guys are saying. So let's see if there's anything that we can learn from this. Karen Vergata. Officials announced the identity of the Gilgo Beach murder victim is all they're saying. I don't think there's going to be too much more information about this, but let's quickly have a look what they say here. I'm showing you this article because it's the latest one, not because I'm making a political decision. Remember, I'm South African living in the Netherlands, because whenever I show whatever, a news source, some people get upset about which news source it is. Okay. Eldan Tastico says maybe they found something in Rex's house that helped identify her. That's what I'm thinking, because, I mean, she went missing in 96, and then they didn't know it was her remains, but remains were found, partial remains, in 2011. To get to 2023, and right after, the week after they finished searching at Rex Heuermann's house, whoa, you know what I mean? It's very likely, it's very plausible to think that this will later be added to the charges that Rex Heuermann is facing, right? Okay, so they say New York authorities announce identity of the Gilgo Beach murder victim. If you want to stay here for a bit, I'm going to show you clips from when I was on Court TV this morning, okay? After this. Suffolk County, New York authorities on Friday identified a Gilgo Beach murder victim known as Fire Island Jane Doe as Karen Vergata, an escort who went missing on Valentine's Day in 1996. So also a sex worker. So there's already, you can see patterns here as well. Suffolk County, New York authorities are expected to identify a Gilgo Beach murder victim that has gone nameless in the over a decade-long case, according to a source familiar with the investigation. The source said authorities in a press conference Friday morning will name Jane Doe number 7, whose remains were found in 2011 along a beachfront parkway during the expansive Gilgo Beach investigative search, and later linked to remains first found on nearby Fire Island in 1996. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney's news conference updating the case is expected at 10:30. That's what we just watched together. Okay, so I'll quickly run through this for you. If you want a little recap, the long-running murder mystery on suburban Long Island remained unsolved for over a decade until a break in the case came last month, after investigators recovered DNA from a pizza crust that was thrown away, linking it to the alleged killer Rex Heuermann. a New York City architect. I mean, to think that this happened in New York, and then it was this 13-year-long, at least, there's probably more that happened before then, but 13-year-long mystery, this unsolved serial killer case, right? And then suddenly in 2023, they arrest this guy that's 6'4" and living in Massapequa Park in plain sight, in a very humble home as an architect, with 300 guns, almost 300 guns, in a vault in his basement, bragging every which way about the guns, calling his clients target on sight. That's what one of the workers said, right? One of his employees said, when a client was approaching the one day, he said, target on sight. So there's that as well. I mean, this is an unbelievable story. He was bragging. He would ask people on dates, have you heard of the Gilgo Beach murders? And you know, one of the dates that he had gone on, I think the lady's name is Nikki Bass. She's on TikTok, and she shared the story there. He was talking about the Gilgo Beach murders and saying, that guy killed like 10 people. Have you heard about it? You know, and that makes me speculate that really all these murders along that beach and probably elsewhere will later be linked to Rex Heuermann. So Margaret says Valentine's Day, the year RH becomes a father. Okay, let's look again. So, wait. I'm going back up. There we go. Fire Island Jane Doe, Karen Vergata, an escort went missing on Valentine's Day 96. That is the same year that he got married to... That is true, Margaret. He got married to his current wife, who's now filed for divorce, Asa Ellerup, in 1996. And yes, she was pregnant with their daughter, because their daughter was born in 97, I believe. True. So yeah, I guess what he was doing on Valentine's Day, if it was him, this we don't know yet. We do not know. Okay, so they say Heuermann 59 was first identified as a potential suspect in early 2022, shortly after a multi-agency task force was formed to examine cold cases involving nearly a dozen sets of human remains found along Ocean Parkway on the South Shore between 2010 and 2011, including 4 women who became known as the Gilgo Four. And he was starting to look up on Google. We don't know how much he Googled before then, but from the task force days when they were formed and the FBI CAST team was assigned. What does that stand for again? Cellular Analysis CAST. Wait, I've got it written down somewhere here. Those FBI CAST teams are always so brilliant, aren't they? Oh, sorry, I've got so many notes all over the place here. Cellular Analysis Survey Team. Ooh, they're gonna be working. We see it at trials when they show us everything that they found, right? Because already the Google searches are quite revealing when he's like, why is the Long Island serial killer not been caught yet? LISK update 2022, 2023, and then that, cell phone data could crack the case. And it really did, right? First one says, Grizzly True Crime, please explain the dynamics of how these psychos live a normal family life. I'm going to say it in one word, compartmentalize. They compartmentalize their lives. That's what they do. So they seem very functional, but they might have this one compartmentalized part of them that's very dysfunctional and sadistic and all that. And they're highly manipulative. They usually are coercive controllers as well in their relationships. So that's why the families are also victims of them in a different way, but still victims. And they're highly manipulative. And people who are highly manipulative generally do lead double lives, as one might say. However, serial killers take that to the next level, right? Kerry says, the presser just said they ID'd Karen in October 2022 via DNA, but had to track down her next of kin. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, and so, Heuermann is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Melissa Barthélemy in 2009, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello in 2010, according to the Suffolk County prosecutors. He's also the prime suspect in the 2007 disappearance and death of a 4th woman, Maureen Brainard Barnes, according to a court document from prosecutors, but he hasn't been charged in connection with that 4th homicide. Through his attorney, Heuermann was refuted. He's refuted the charges against him. Of course he has, right? Of course he has. I did not do this, Heuermann said after his arrest, according to his court-appointed attorney, Michael Brown. Investigators believe the killings of the 4 women who worked as sex workers might have happened in the suspect's home. That's yet to be determined. You know what I mean? For many of them, we know where the initial contact point may have been, which could have been in Manhattan, or the last time they were seen in, Queens or wherever. We've looked at all of that, right? So there's that, and then we know where many bodies were found. But what did he actually do with the victims, especially just the 3 charges we know of so far? Did he take them to his home when his family was on vacation? Did he have a different place, like, I don't know, the storage unit, he had multiple properties? You just never know. I would speculate he kept them for a few days, not just a moment in time, right? Must I say sipe sipe? Sipe sipe. In South Africa, I'm going to say sipe sipe. Thank you so much for your $50 super chat. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Wow. And so, we've gone over all that, right? We know that. Okay. Now, what was I still going to show you? Yes, the video. Let's quickly go here as well, just one more time, while I get that ready for you. I'm going to have to watch that presser again. Do you want to watch it again? To see exactly. So they identified her in 2022, but were looking for a next of kin. I did read yesterday, there was a story where they were looking for family connected, I think they did say, to Jane Doe number 7 in Alabama. So maybe that's how, yes. Angela Spark says it's going to take many years to put this case to rest. I agree, Angela, many years. And for instance, John Bitrolf, a serial killer who operated in the same area, and that was in the 90s. Let's just see it from 93 to 94. He was convicted of killing 2 sex workers, but suspected of 15 to 19 plus. So it could be more than 19 victims. So some of the victims in this area could be his victims too. That's yet to be determined. But the other thing is, they say convicted of 2, could be 19 or more. So don't be surprised if that does happen with someone like Rex Heuermann, innocent or proven guilty. But don't be surprised if later they're like, yeah, convicted of example 3, but suspected of, 25 or whatever it is, or 10 or whatever they're going to say. Harm van Houten, dank je wel. Are you from the Netherlands? Harm van Houten, thank you so much. Brenda says towards the mod tip jar. You got to do that on the actual mod tip jar, Brenda, because I calculated every quarter from there specifically. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So the link is on my website, grizzlytruecrime.com. It says buy me a coffee, and then it says Grizzly mod tip jar. So if you guys want to spoil the mods, please go and do that over there, grizzlytruecrime.com. Olivia Olofsson. You're like, yum. Oh, thank you. Okay, so one second, please. CL said saw something on Twitter about them looking into teenager went missing in Manhattan in 93 called Judith Veloz, but can't open the link from the UK. Maybe she's Jane Doe. Now that's another interesting one. You see, what if? They will. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of what ifs in this case. A lot of them. Imagine it. But there's another one. A teenager who went missing in Manhattan in 93 called Judith Veloz. Interesting. Okay. So yes, please continue to be kind to the family. Oh man. They've got a GoFundMe link. I'll put that in the description box. Afterwards, if you guys do want to donate to that. The family's back at the house. They live there. The wife, who's filed for divorce, special needs son, and their daughter as well. It's devastating. I mean, to put that all back together, whew, there's boxes everywhere. There were already boxes everywhere, apparently. It was very cluttered, boxes everywhere. But now it's just like ripping that house apart, basically. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Asa Ellerup's attorney yesterday. That was on, I think, Law and Crime Network. I think with Anjanette Levy. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out, okay? So now, let me quickly find that video that I want to find for you guys. If you missed out on any of my deep dives, presentations, things like that, please do check it out, okay? Because we've gone over a lot of things as we're building the layers of this case. Especially we did a deep dive on Shannan Gilbert's case and then a deep dive on the Gilgo Four. And I'm sure if you missed out on that, it could be quite informative because I've mapped it all out for us and made timelines and shown you who went missing when and whose families were taunted on phone calls as well. So there's that too. Sweet and Sassy says, I absolutely would not be going back to that place. No way. Well, then we've got to help them to get out of there because I think that's all they have now, Rex was the primary provider, I think. Okay. Orlando Ramos says, what brought you to the Netherlands rather than America? My husband. Husband and job. So I could do my job from anyway now, but I wasn't doing this then. We moved here, yes? Okay, so let me find that video, sorry. Quickly, find it for you. Wait 1 second, please. Maybe I can actually just play it from here. Wait. What I'm going to show you now is interview clips from when I was on Court TV.
Oh, from here to talk about it this...
Ooh, okay, wait. This one. Oh. Thank you so much to MB Inc. MB Inc. has a YouTube channel for also helping me record this. I was recording it. He was recording it just in case. We don't want to miss out. This was from a live feed on courttv.com, okay? Rochelle, you can watch it on Patreon. I'll put the clips there for you on Patreon. If anyone is on Patreon, you can already watch it there in full. And now I'm going to show you clips from the talk about Rex Heuermann, okay? Here we go.
That is the day the case is set for trial. There will be some other pre-trial court dates, but as of right now, tentatively October 2nd. More today. Right now, I want to bring my guest back in. Criminal defense attorney Greg Isaacs joining us, and the author of 4 serial killer books and the host of the YouTube channel Grizzly True Crime, Gisela K. Joining us from...
Stop it. I was like, what? Grizzly True Crime. Gisela K. You guys, did I make you proud or what? Okay, let's look at it.
The Netherlands. Okay, Gisela, I want to start with you on this one, please. Talk to us about what the timeline suggests to you about the potential of other bodies being tied to Rex Heuermann.
To me, I mean, the timeline to think in 2010, the Gilgo Four were found, and then of course many more bodies, which we don't yet know if it's connected to Rex or not. But usually, looking at the stats, one wouldn't just wake up and start doing this at that age. He was in his, I think, mid-40s at the time. So what did he do in the decade or two before, and what did he do between 2010 and 2023? That is the question.
Right. Gisela, do you believe that there could be more than one serial killer involved in all the Gilgo Beach homicides?
I do, because Rex Heuermann himself was Googling John Bitrolf, who was one of the serial killers who operated in the area. He's been convicted of 2 murders, but they suspect he could be responsible for 19, and it's also of sex workers. And then there's Joel Rifkin as well as Robert Schulman. So that's already 3 others, and Rex Heuermann, who operated in the area. So there could be more. And it's a very long, dark road, so it could be that it's their dumping ground, but it's, in my mind, a little bit unlikely at the same time. I won't be shocked if it is all Rex on that in that beach area, and if there's many more victims.
Well, we appreciate your expertise on this, Gisela.
What? I had to keep my cool, you guys. This was so exciting. What an absolute honor. Like, I can't believe it. Do you guys think I slept last night? No, I was so stressed and excited for this. Julie, thanks for being a member of the channel for 8 months. You say so proud of you, G. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. You guys make me blush. Stop it. Okay, I'm going to play the rest for you here.
Greg Isaacs, let me tap into your expertise with the criminal defense side of this. What a case to take on. These attorneys have quite a job ahead of them defending Rex Heuermann, even with just 3 homicides. And I'm not minimizing 3, but just saying we know there's a potential for him to have more charges brought against him. Talk to me about what they're doing right now. Help us kind of pull back the curtain. What are they doing to plan and prepare to defend him in court, Greg?
Well, Julie, when you have a case of multiple homicides or a serial killer, it obviously ramps up the ante. But this is a unique case, and I've had one of the first cases that was tried on Court TV in Tennessee, a serial killer. And when you have somebody that's a predator, it creates an obsession with the media, a fascination, a chill in the community that someone has been walking among the citizens as a cold-blooded, methodical killer. It's just a different level. Judges treat it differently, prosecutors treat it differently. Obviously, venue is going to be a huge issue as this case goes forward, but those are things that you're thinking of. And then everybody wants to become involved. Nationally renowned experts, when you pick up the phone, they answer the phone. Hey, I've only got a certain amount of money, it's limited. Let me play. Let me try to answer why this predator moved about the community like he did. So these cases are different, they're rare, but this is a fascinating case for all the wrong reasons. And when you're a lawyer, that's something that you're going to have to deal with from day one.
Right, Greg. Going off the point you made about how there are...
I'm just going to pause for a second. Joycey says, Robert Schulman's pattern was way different than that of the Gilgo killer. Absolutely. The point I was making was not that their MOs are the same. It's that there's many serial killers operating at one time. So could there be more? Yes. They actually say it's between 100 and 300 active serial killers at one time in the United States of America. And I'm like, sorry, what now? That's a lot. They normally like to quote 50, about 50. But they're like, that's accurately 100 to 300 or so. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to just finish this clip, and then I'm going to show you one more thing, which is coming later. I'm just waiting for something, and then later there will be a very exciting premiere that I'm going to share with you as well, okay?
People now looking back with shock and horror based on the allegations when they might have come into contact with him through work or through the neighborhood. We've got a clip from one gentleman who worked in the same building as Rex Heuermann. Take a listen to what he said.
I was kind of like a speechless. I was kind of surprised that it was him that was up here. He was on the 11th floor. We're on the 10th floor. It's not a big office. It's like it's part of the floor. So I never seen his office, but that's news I got when on that Friday when it was all surrounded by troopers, police, and reporters. The arrest was about a block away, but I guess the police here came to, check his office and collect all the evidence, whatever, so.
Gisela K., I want to turn back to you if I can, please. Help us look back at some of the things in Rex Heuermann's life that now might seem like red flags, but at the time really didn't raise anybody's eyebrows.
Right, of course, hindsight is 20/20, but just to name a few, the way that he bragged about his gun collection, and how shocking will it be if he didn't use a gun on any of his victims? It's almost like a deflection. That, and then there was someone that worked with him that said that when a client was approaching him, he said target on sight, like he called them a target. Never mind that he really seemed to like bragging about and talking about the Gilgo Beach murders, which might sound like a true crime interest, but the dates he went on said like his eyes lit up and he was so excited. He didn't talk about it in a way of empathy for the victims or the way one might usually talk about it. He was really excited to share everything that he knew about it, like he was an expert on it, of course.
Right. I sure hope once this case goes to trial and then we see what the evidence shows that perhaps you will write a book on him. Gisela K., you've written 4 books already on serial killers. You're also the host of the very popular YouTube channel, Grizzly True Crime. Everybody check it out. Gisela K., would love to have you back again sometime.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to be here.
Oh, well, it was our pleasure to have you. Thank you kindly, and we'll see you back here.
Oh, man. Can you believe it, you guys? What? And I've got one more thing to show you, so just hang in there 1 second. I want to show you this, which is coming later. Okay, wait. It's going to be right here.
Kevin Clark.
Here we go. So, later, you remember yesterday I said I interviewed somebody? Now, if you're on Patreon, you already know who it is. I'm telling you, you guys get all the behind-the-scenes updates on Patreon, okay? That's the easiest and nicest place, and the most supportive place, of course, to post documents, behind-the-scenes photos, little video clips, all kinds of formats. That's why I love Patreon so much. You can post many different types of things, right? Podcast episodes, all that. So now I'm going to show you a little clip that I posted there yesterday from who I interviewed. But don't spoil it now. Did someone say it already? Berenice, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who's buying stickers today. I did put it on the screen. I really, really appreciate it. So here we go. We've got District Attorney Michael Allen that I interviewed yesterday, which was, oh man, what an honor as well. So as you know, for instance, the Burgos Aviles case, I got to interview the district attorney there, Isidro Alanis, and also Detective Reyes and Detective Garcia. And then in the Letitia Stauch trial, so Gannon Stauch's case, I was able to interview the intelligence analyst, Kevin Clark, So epic. And then yesterday, this was planned for about a month already, you guys. So it was, the day finally arrived. We always knew, okay, it's going to be August 3rd. That's when it's happening at this time. And so that's what I was busy with yesterday. So anytime you guys don't see me here, you know, I'm doing something behind the scenes. I'm doing something. Okay, and then I got the Court TV stuff, and I'm like, what? So that's where I was. But there's always behind the scenes updates, as I say, on Patreon. I always keep you in the loop there. Laurie says, G, do you think a serial killer can change his MO over time, especially to avoid getting caught? Congrats on the interview. Yes, I do. And Joel Rifkin himself, who was also called the Long Island at the time, then in the area, serial killer. Joel Rifkin, a serial killer in the area, right? He did change his MO, and he explained as well that, yeah, sometimes you either get bored or you just change it up or you just want to evade capture, right? Pistol Amy says, we are beaming with pride. Now look at this. If you guys saw the Kevin Clark interview, Kevin Clark sent me an email yesterday to say congratulations on 200K. I was blown away. I'm like, what? Remember he had a Grizzly True Crime mug? Nearly died when I saw this. Now here is Howard Black. He is the public information officer there in the 4th Judicial District Court, right? We've got District Attorney Michael Allen. We got the awesome Eric as well. And Howard and Eric, they just normally are there as well, just watching us. You know, they normally put the cameras and their mics off while I conduct the interview, and then we chat before and after, right? So they were there. And Howard Black's actually written a book on domestic violence, him and his wife. So I hope to be having him on the show sometime to talk about DV as well and all their experience. And so look at this. Look at this. Clock with it. You go. Okay. I don't know what to say with it. You have a Grizzly True Crime mug?
Yeah, make sure everybody gets your Grizzly True Crime mug.
Oh my goodness. Okay, day made, you're made. So that's the clip that I shared yesterday on Patreon, okay? Oh my word. So that's coming later. The full interview will be coming as soon as I get the green light from them. They said it'll be a nice quick turnaround, so we'll do that. And I do also want to make sure, let me just check. I do also want to make sure that we go over the new Koberger stuff too. So that could be a stream for later maybe. Well, that's that, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm still waiting to hear from District Attorney Michael Allen and Howard and the team there. And as soon as I have the thumbs up that I can release that full interview, because I always send it to all my guests. I first send it to them to make sure they're happy with everything and the way I've edited it and everything. And then I wait for that green light. And as soon as the green light's there, you will see it, okay? So make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the bell. I think like 40% of people here, only 40% have hit the bell and put it to all. So if you miss notifications, it's because you didn't hit the bell. Okay, thank you so much, Kimberly. I really appreciate it. So make sure that you do that. And then if you see a live stream coming up or a premiere or something, click notify me on it. Okay, then it will actually alert you half an hour before and when it's actually happening. So I can't wait to show you that as well. Very much looking forward to show you the interview with District Attorney Michael Allen. And we had some very important conversations during that as well. And maybe some things that you haven't heard before. So yes, okay. Now let me quickly get to some of your questions here. Gamer Arnold says no video of Brian entering 1122 King Road and no murder weapon. They have the knife sheath, not the murder weapon, and there's that video that we looked at, which you can't say that's definitely Koberger's car, that's him in it. You can't say that, but that surveillance footage we saw is very interesting because it does look like a white vehicle and it is making turns, and you know, it's kind of how they describe it on the probable cause affidavit. Same time frame, but yet, I mean, you just never know what's the true source of that. Where did it come from? Is that really him? We don't know. But if it is, then damn, that will be more evidence, you know. But yes, of course, no murder weapon and a circumstantial case at this point. That knife sheath, though, whoa, quite something, huh? So thank you to all the members who have upgraded or joined today. If you joined today, please check out the members only playlist, and definitely also check out the most recent members only live stream where we had an important discussion in the first 6 minutes or so. And then also check the community tab. Okay, I posted twice there for members just to remind you of a little change that we're making today. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's very necessary for where we're at now and where we're going. So I hope everybody understands. Thank you so much. And so that's that for today, you guys. In this live stream, we watched the press conference together in the Gilgo Beach murders case. Hope to see you later. I'm holding thumbs that I'll see you later for the interview to share that with you with District Attorney Michael Allen. First one says, where can we find your books? All those links are also on grizzlytruecrime.com. Everything's on Amazon too. So if you type in Gilgo K, you'll find my audiobooks that I narrated myself. I think that's the hardest work I've ever done to date. Absolutely brutal to narrate your own audiobooks without a studio. Like my house, here we are in an apartment. I'm like, I will do this. I will do this up to Audible standards. And I did, but I had to record each book 4 times. Okay, so if you did listen to my audiobooks, just know I appreciate it so much. And one more, if you are on Patreon and you go to the search bar and you type in podcast or the name of the book like Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy or Eileen Wuornos, you're going to find a lot of podcast episodes that I did on Patreon, which have the same pilot voice on. I was a pilot for 9 years. So sometimes people like Caroline, who's here as well, call it pilot voice, right? Okay. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful Friday. A wonderful weekend ahead. I will be seeing you. Don't you worry. We've got lots to do and lots to talk about. And thank you so much, mods, for everything. Really appreciate all the support. Couldn't do this without my PR manager, without my team, without all of you. You make it possible. So thank you so, so much. And thank you, Grizzly Cat. Really appreciate that. All right, guys. I'm going to love and leave you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.